As the tank for Shane Wright continues, and with the trade deadline fast approaching, well, today we want to play a game. It's called Trade or Keep, and you're here with Justin, Alex, Mackie. Together we make the No Respect podcast. And what we're going to do, very simply, and you guys can join along in the comments down below, like, subscribe, that's free. We're going to go through a list of players, and then we're going to ask ourselves, do we trade or keep this player? So let's start off with our man, Ben Sherratt, number 8. Starting with you, Alex. Trade or keep Ben Sherratt?
Ben Sherratt, for me, is a trade. He won my heart last year in the playoffs. I was a critic of the signing, but he proved me wrong. But at the end of the day, we have to take the value where we can get it. Rumors are we're going to get a good return for him. So I think we go for it and trade.
First round pick, maybe? All right, Justin, you.
Yeah, Alex said most of it. For me, it's a trade as well. If we're getting a first rounder for him, I think we trade him.
Bingo bango. Traded Ben Sherratt, number 8. We loved you, buddy. Thank you for your service. Let's go. Next up, Arturi Lehkonen, or Hockey Junkie, our friend, would call Arturi Lehkonen. So, is this a trade or keep? Starting with you, Justin.
This one's tough for me because I think he's pretty much a perfect player other than the goal scoring. So for me, if you can get a first rounder or something like a high pick for him, I would trade him. If not, I think he's better served on the Habs.
Alex.
To me, Lehkonen's a trade as well. I think we can get decent value for him. And realistically, with his contract ending, we have a chance to sign him again anyway. So let him go, take the value.
Unanimous here. Sorry, Arturi. We will be shipping you off for any value that we can get. But
there was a caveat on mine. There was a caveat at least.
Okay, go with the caveat quickly, please. People are in a hurry. Oh, you can't. All right, fair enough.
No, I had a caveat on my.
I mean, you had to elaborate. We're moving on. Okay, nobody cares. Yoel Armia, here we go. Are you trading this Finnish partner of Arturi Lehkonen's? Let's start with you, Justin, who had a caveat.
Well, I think Armia this year, he just hasn't put up the points or anything good, really. So he doesn't really have the value to be able to trade him right now. So I'd keep him until at least the offseason and then reevaluate then.
I like it. So that's a keep. All right, Alex, go ahead.
I'm going 3 in a row. I would trade Armia pretty much no matter what you can get. His contract isn't good right now, so it'd be nice to get rid of that. And to be honest, I'm fed up with his inconsistency, kind of like our posting schedule. But yeah, so it's a trade for me.
Oh, I like the quick wit. I'm going to keep Yoel Armia, and I'll tell you exactly why. It's because I want him to show that flash of brilliance, and then maybe the Habs will be competitive next year. Who knows? I know that that's a long shot from what we were at, so we'll see. But keep him, make sure that his value increases, and then get the return that you should want for this type of player. Moving on, let's get to this one. This one might split the room and might say a little bit about yourself here. Jonathan Drouin, Monsieur 92. I don't know why I said Monsieur, but here we go. Justin, for you, are you keeping Jonathan Drouin avec le bleu, blanc, rouge?
I think I keep him because this season he's been one of the bright spots for me. He's been consistent for his point production. I don't think he's going to be a superstar in this league, but I think we keep him. We keep him to kind of either rebuild or retool the team.
Alex.
Yeah, I agree. I keep Drouin. Unfortunately, I don't think he'll ever reach his high-end potential, but he's a good offensive player. He's still fairly young. His contract's not bad. So I keep him and help him hopefully develop a bit more.
I'd trade him if we get the right value. And it's nothing against Jonathan Drouin. I loved having this player on the team. I do think that it might benefit him and the team to go into a different direction at this stage. But get the right value for him is my caveat on this one. That's how you say a caveat, by the way, Justin. Moving on. I think it's our friend Tyler Toffoli. Tyler Toffoli, Cup champion from LA that we signed and acquired last year under Bergevin. Do you keep him? Is he part of the leadership group going forward? Alex.
This is probably the toughest one for me. His contract's really good. He's played really good since he's been here. The only thing is his age and his timeline. In a perfect world, I'd keep Toffoli any day. He's been great, super good for Suzuki. But I think maybe we try to move him and get a pretty good package for him.
Justin.
For me, it kind of depends on what the plan is for the team. If it's kind of like a retool, I think he'd be a perfect kind of leader, like an older veteran type player that still puts up points, that can kind of show the ropes to the young players. So in that case, I'd keep him. If it's a full kind of rebuild, then I'd trade him to get as much as we can for him.
Yeah, I completely agree with that take. But I also like the fact that he said that he wants to be part of the solution. And I like that type of answer from a guy who is a cup champion, who came here and experienced the cup run. And he could say, like, no, I want to win. But he also wrote in the Player Tribune, said he loves to be a Montreal Canadian. So I keep Tyler Toffoli. Moving on. Next one's up, Mr. Jeff Petry. Not the most flattering picture of Jeff Petry, I don't think, but handsome fellow nonetheless. Does Jeff Petry sustain this rebuild, retool, whatever's going to happen in the future for the Habs? Starting with you, Justin.
For me, it's the same kind of answer as Yoel Armia. It's like he just hasn't had a good season, and he's just signed a pretty hefty contract. So I think we'd have trouble trading him for a good value right now. So for that reason, I'd keep him, at least until the offseason. If something changes, then maybe. But yeah, I would keep him.
Okay. All right, Alex.
Yeah, I agree with Justin 100%. Unless someone throws an insane package, you're not getting good value for Jeff Petry right now, and there's no harm in keeping him really. So yeah, I say wait till next year and reevaluate.
Yeah, you heard it here. Unanimous. Overpay or he stays. All right, next up. Let's go. We've got Mr. Josh Anderson, and I know we got a couple of listeners. I'm just talking to you, Morgan Burton, who hate Josh Anderson. Some love him. I'm a big fan of Josh Anderson. He signed a very lucrative and long deal with the Montreal Canadiens, 7 years. I believe it's somewhere in the 5.5 region, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, I'll get roasted in the chat for that. Is he staying? Alex, Josh Anderson.
I would absolutely keep Josh Anderson. And that might surprise people because I've been a critic of him, but I think he's still fairly young. You give this team a few years to turn around, he could be a huge piece in the playoffs in a few years. We saw his impact last year in the playoffs, so you need an energy guy like this, a big guy. So I keep him 100%.
Justin.
Yeah, I totally agree with Alex. I mean, he maybe hasn't put up as many points as we'd imagined in our minds, but I think he's just a player that drives the play, and he's a huge performer in the playoffs, as we saw. So yeah, I would keep him to be a kind of leader, like what I said about Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah, and him too wants to be a part of this group, needs to be better. I like all of the things that he said. And also, it's going to be hard to move that contract if he's not doing well regardless. So, Anderson stays, and if you want to roast us, go ahead. Moving on. This one's a big one. Mr. Brandon Gallagher, number 11, okay? This one's tough, but I'm going to start with you, Justin. You look pensive. You look like you're ready to tackle this.
I mean, I'm on the fence because there's two ways of doing it. Like, if we're doing a full rebuild, you could either have him as a captain type player, like a huge leader, like he's been, and go from there. But if he's not able to produce in the next few years, then that kind of just falls flat and doesn't do anything for you. So it really depends. I still believe in Brendan Gallagher, so I would keep him. But I can see where people might want to trade him.
Alex, do you differ in opinions here?
Yeah, I do, in like a sad way, but I think it's time to trade Gallagher. I know he hasn't played well. You might not get the best value, but realistically, I don't see his value increasing in the next few years. So I think it's time to move on and kind of go in a different direction. So I trade Brendan Gallagher.
I start with a conversation with Brendan Gallagher. I want to know if he wants to stay with this group, wants to be a part of it. And also, it's going to say a lot about what Kent Hughes believes in, I think. Because Marc Bergevin, being an emotional guy, very loyal to this bulldog, to this guy that's been the heart and soul of the team, gave him a big contract. We all know that. And with COVID and the cap not going up, it has not looked better, and it won't get better. So this one is going to be a defining move for me. If you get the real value for Brendan Gallagher, it's for sure. But I have to say, and I'm going along with you, Alex, here, is that if you see the opportunity to get some kind of thing, you may gotta trade him. But that's just my opinion. Here we go. Last one. Is that the last one for no? Okay,
That's
we
the
got
last
the
one.
first round or top lottery pick, whatever it may be, because we're absolute garbage. 8, 26, and 7. That's a real goddamn record for the Montreal Canadiens. Are you trading away the top 3 pick to get competitive starting next year? What are you doing, Justin?
I think it's too early to tell. I know we've seen some shaky things with Shane Wright coming off the World Junior cancellation. But yeah, I mean, I still think he's going to be a great player. So if we have the opportunity to draft him, I would do it. I would just draft as high as we can right now. I think we draft the best player available and we don't take our chances.
Alex?
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely would not move this pick. There's no point, really. And I don't think you'll get fair value for it. So I keep our pick.
I only do this deal if I'm moving down and staying in the top 10 and I'm getting a very solid package. But if not, I'm keeping this pick because it's going to maybe be a game changer for us and building upon it. But I know Connor Bedard is the year after, so who knows? Maybe there's going to be some moves for that. We shall see. Is that the end of our list, folks? It is. That's right. Let us know what you guys think. Trade or keep. We played it today for the first time. Let us know your thoughts. Roast us. Comment. Liking and subscribing. That'd be great, but I don't blame you if you don't want to do it. You can join our Discord. We are the No Respect Podcast, and we will see you for another segment or show relatively soon. Go Habs, go, and we shall see you soon. Bye-bye.